We will now call a common council meeting of August 19th, 2025 to order. Roll call, please.
Alderwoman Hess. Here. Lorick.
Here.
Ritz.
Here.
Marshall. Here. Gale. Here. And Alderman Guzikowski is excused.
Wonderful. Everybody please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. Jim, you want to start us off today, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That will get us to approval of minutes of July the 15th, 2025. I'll give you a moment to look them over in case there's any questions or discussions, corrections or errors. Please take the floor.
House moves to approve the July 15th, 2025 minutes.
Marshall second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye. Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
And our first order of business is a mayoral proclamation. It's appreciation to Martin Law Office, SC, on their partnership and community involvement with the City of Oak Creek. I'll ask the city clerk to read that into record, please.
Certainly. Appreciation to Martin Law Office SC on their partnership and community involvement with the City of Oak Creek. Whereas Martin Law Offices SC and its lawyers are passionate, result-driven advocates for victims, attorneys who live and work in our community and are committed to making Oak Creek a vibrant and thriving place to call home. And whereas Martin Law Office has consistently prioritized community involvement and meaningful partnerships. And whereas Martin Law Office has supported numerous organizations and charitable causes in the City of Oak Creek, contributing both financial resources and volunteer efforts to civic and educational fundraising events over the years. And whereas most recently, Martin Law Office SC reaffirmed its commitment to Oak Creek through a $31,000 donation for the 2025, contributing a total of $95,000 over the past 5 years. And whereas Martin Law Office has generally sponsored numerous events throughout the city, including serving as the official sponsor of the Oak Creek Summer, supporting 9 beer gardens in Drexeltown Square, and providing funding for the Clock Tower Classic Bike Race, an event the City of Oak Creek hosted for the first time in June. And whereas Martin Law Office has also made a significant contribution to the Oak Creek Farmers Market, supporting initiatives such as the Taste It Tent and Kids Coins program, and the Winter Market at the Oak Creek Community Center. This generous support has allowed thousands of summer marketgoers to sample fresh, local produce each week, while the Kids Coins program gives children the opportunity to purchase nutritious, farm-fresh food and learn about healthy eating. And whereas Martin Law Office has provided an additional $110,000 in donations over the past 5 years to the Oak Creek Franklin Joint School District, supporting projects such as the Athletic Scoreboard, PAEC signage, and the high school's Gay Straight Alliance. And whereas Martin Law Office has consistently demonstrated the highest level of civic and community involvement and unwavering dedication to community enrichment. Now therefore be it resolved that on this day, Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, that I, Daniel J. Bukevich, Mayor of the City of Oak Creek, do hereby recognize and wish to extend gratitude to Martin Law Office and its attorneys for their commitment and generosity to the City of Oak Creek, Wisconsin, and all of its residents. Be it further resolved that the city clerk be and is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Martin Law Office, SC, dated this 19th day of August, 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. Before I go to the council, I'm going to invite Kevin Martin up from Martin Law. Kind of say a few words, and then we'll turn it over to the council. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not sure about the wisdom of allowing a trial lawyer the open mic with no time limit on there. In all seriousness, Mayor Bukevich, thank you so much for this proclamation and this honor. To the Common Council, likewise, thank you. It's hard to believe that 13 and a half years have passed since we opened up our doors, and the partnership with the city has started immediately and has continued and grown since then. On behalf of Martin Law Office, we are honored by this proclamation, and we look forward to our continued partnership with the city. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Just kind of stand still. Council, any words? Alicia, anything?
Thank you for being a great partner, both to the city and patronizing all of the local restaurants. I know I can speak for all of us when we say we greatly appreciate it.
Else, Greg?
I guess I'd personally just like to say thank you for all the support at the schools. I do have 3 kids that went through the school system. And I definitely appreciate the kind of the pivot and the recent contributions for scholarships for students in high school. So thank you.
Ed, congratulations.
I'm going to add that you're also very active at church because you went to church with us for a long time. And then in addition to that, Frankie Olivando is very close to me, and you hire local, which is important as well.
Since she was an undergrad.
I know.
Yes.
It's a long time. So
Yeah. Kevin, personally, I can't add much more to that. You are a great asset to this city. To be brick and mortar here and to choose Oak Creek, to be the place, to be a premier law firm in Wisconsin is just incredible. But it just doesn't stop there. Your billboards are everywhere, but we know your home's in Oak Creek, and your heart is here as well, and it shows with generosity you give, whether at the schools, local clubs, the city, you're all in. And more importantly, you're a resident. So on behalf of the city of Oak Creek, all its citizens, Common Council, and myself, thank you for being an incredible partner to the city of Oak Creek, and thank you for sponsoring the Oak Creek Summer. We appreciate it on our 70th anniversary. You truly made it special here in Oak Creek for its residents. Thank you.
So much.
And we do have this take-home plaque for you. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have a council proclamation. Congratulations to Christopher Lang, our 2024 Oak Creek Citizen of the Year. Catherine, if you would, please.
Certainly. Congratulations to Christopher E. Lang, 2024 Oak Creek Citizen of the Year. Whereas the Oak Creek Citizen of the Year Committee conducts an annual search for the person who, in its judgment, is most deserving of acknowledgement because of a loyal, unselfish, and patriotic service to the community. And whereas the Oak Creek Citizen of the Year Committee has selected Christopher Lang as its 2024 Citizen of the Year, for which he will be duly honored at a recognition dinner on Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Whereas Chris Lang is married to his wife Heidi and has 5 children, John, Sean, Danny, Sarah, and Rachel. And whereas Chris attended Pulaski High School before honorably serving in the United States Navy until 1985, during which time he acquired training in the electrical trade. Upon returning to civilian life, Chris settled in Oak Creek, where he worked as an electrician before founding CR Electric in 1996. And whereas as a proud veteran, Chris has dedicated over 20 years of volunteer service to the Oak Creek Legion Post 434. Chris installed new electrical service to the tractor barn, adding lighting to the newly constructed shelter, rewired the lighting large pole barn at the lower Legion grounds, and upgraded the electrical system at the Leinie Weiss Pavilion to support live band performances. Due to Chris's extensive volunteer efforts and specialized expertise, the Legion grounds are now better equipped to serve the community and will be enjoyed for generations to come. And whereas Chris has been a dedicated member of the Oak Creek Lions Club for 18 years, generously volunteering his time and talents in service to the Oak Creek community. In addition to serving as a past president of the club, Chris also a recipient of the prestigious Melvin Jones Fellowship, the highest honor bestowed upon a Lions Club member in recognition of outstanding service to both the club and the community it serves. And whereas, using his electrical expertise, Chris provided and installed the necessary wiring to equip the Serenity Garden at the Oak Creek Civic Center with lighting and electric services needed. Chris has routinely volunteered his time and talents to the Oak Creek Community Center, where he installed electrical circuits for the new hand dryers in the bathrooms and outlets beneath the sinks to support automated water systems, and wired the panels, outlets, and lighting for the new reconfigured Lion's Den space, which provided substantial savings to the community center. And whereas, in addition to his numerous volunteer hours in Oak Creek, Chris also has dedicated many years of service to Bayview by providing electrical hookups at the South Shore Water Frolics, Furthermore, in South Milwaukee, Chris contributes his expertise by supplying electrical connections to vendor booths and installing temporary fuse panels for the carnival and music stages. And whereas Chris Lane exemplifies the spirit of community service through a wide range of selfless acts, from purchasing a rubber raft and paddling across the pond at the Oak Creek Police Station to replace a burnt-out light bulb, to delivering wood chips for the front garden at Cedar Hills Elementary, to assist an elderly military veteran he met at Menards by installing a new mailbox and even adopting a late farmer's dog to provide it with a loving home in its final years. Chris continues to serve his community with dedication, compassion, and humility in countless meaningful ways. And whereas the lasting contribution Chris has made to the Oak Creek community are both significant and deeply appreciated, making him truly deserving of this honor and recognition. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and the common council of the city of Oak Creek hereby congratulate Christopher Lang on being selected to the 2024 Oak Creek Citizen of the Year. Be it further resolved that this proclamation be spread upon the minutes of this meeting, and that the city clerk be, and she is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Christopher Lang, passed and adopted this 19th day of August, 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. Any words for Chris? Anyone familiar with Chris? I think his resume kind of speaks for itself. It's not a mystery what Chris does here through, I guess, put it this way, nobody notices what he does. But what he does is very important for various groups, as you just heard in the proclamation. We need more people like Chris. He is so deserving of this. Couldn't be prouder that he chooses Oak Creek once again to keep his business rooted here. And not only does he provide employment and brick and mortar here for us, but more importantly, he gives back to the community. He believes in this wholeheartedly, and it's all here. So my deepest congratulations to Chris on behalf of the entire Common Council, citizens of Oak Creek. Well-deserved, Chris. Please keep up the good work. You're a shining example of community spirit here in Oak Creek. Congrats. With that, I'll call for a roll call. Oh, motion, I'm sorry.
You'll move to Bruce Council Proclamation 25-02. 2024
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Okay, item 6 is our first public hearing, and it's consideration of a request for a conditional use permit for a contractor's office and contractor yard at Safeway Transportation Corporation, an existing building located at 6925 South 6th. Catherine?
Public hearing number 1 is to consider a request for a conditional use permit for a contractor's office, shop, and contractor's yard at Safeway Transportation Services Corporation, an existing business located at 6925 South 6th Street. Applicant is Griselda de Leon, Safeway Transportation Services Corporation, property owner Ursa Oak Creek LLC. Legal description there follows. Date of notice is July 30th, 2025.
Catherine Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. The application before you is to consider a conditional use permit. Safeway, they're actually an operating business in this facility, this multi-tenant building, and it came to the city's attention that they were operating without the required conditional use permit. So hence they are cooperating and moving forward with this application to operate a contractor's shop, office, and a contractor's yard. The site is zoned M1 manufacturing. They provide transportation buses to Milwaukee Public Schools. So this is the site plan that they submitted delineating where their outdoor storage and contractor's yard will be on this particular site. Their hours of operation are 5 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. They operate, they have offices, they have a maintenance garage and storage outside. The code does require 39 parking spaces. They are providing 41 identified in the yellow for their employers and visitors, yellow and red. But they also have outdoor bus storage, which is identified in the purple, and then 6 passenger vans identified in the blue. Beyond the standard conditions and restrictions, what was identified for conditions and restrictions for this particular CUP is that the parking areas for the outdoor storage of buses shall be shown and continually maintained as provided on the site plan that we just went over. Outdoor storage shall be limited to a maximum of 21 buses and 6 passenger vans, and no other outdoor storage shall be allowed. And then again, their hours of operation shall be maintained between 5 a.m. and 6:30 Monday through Friday. If the Common Council shall vote in a negative fashion, they are to cite one of the review criteria in front of you. If that needs to be shown again, just let me know. And other than that, the Plan Commission did recommend approval at their June 24th meeting.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
As this is a public hearing, I will make 3 calls. If you wish to speak on the subject, please approach the podium, give your name and address. This will be the first call. Second call. Third and final call on item 6. Seeing no one, I will now close the public hearing and we will go on to item 7, which is consideration of a resolution approving the conditional use permit for a contractor shop office and contractor yard at Safeway Transportation Service Corporation, an existing business located at 6925 South 6th Street, Suite 100. I'll open it up to the council. Anybody? Right?
Questions?
Left? Questions? No. Greg, you just want to recap planning on this one? Were you there for that one?
I was not at that planning meeting.
Okay, I guess I'll just kind of do it. Planning did go over this extensively. They really wanted to clean up that parking a little bit. And Safeway's doing a nice job with that, improving the building there. So hours of operations met everything. It should be a vast improvement for the property. So there's no further discussion. Motion.
Council move to approve the request for conditional use permit amendment, 6925 South 6th Street for Safeway.
Clark seconds.
Hang on.
Council moves to amend my motion to adopt resolution number 12606081925, approving a conditional use permit for contractor shop office and contractor's yard at Safeway Transportation Services Corporation, an existing business located at 6925 South 6th Street, Suite 100.
Clark seconds. Motion as amended.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
And item 8, public hearing, consideration for a request to rezone the property located at 7115 South Pennsylvania Avenue from B2 Community Business District to B4 General Business District, and to rezone the property at 7123 South Pennsylvania Avenue from RS4 Single Family Residential District to B4 General Business District. Catherine?
Public hearing number 2 is to consider a request to rezone the property located at 7115 South Pennsylvania Avenue from B2 Community Business District to B4 General Business District, and to rezone the property at 7123 South Pennsylvania Avenue from RS4 Single Family Residential District to B4 General Business District. Applicant is Safe Main Real Estate. Property owner is Mines Real Estate LLC. There follows the legal description. Date of notice is July 30th, 2025.
Thank you. Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members of the Common Council, Christy Lane, Community Development Director. The application before you is to rezone 2 parcels, as was just stated. The 2 parcels in question here are at the hard corner of Rawson Avenue and Pennsylvania Avenue. On the east side of Pennsylvania is the city of South Milwaukee, but everything west of Pennsylvania is in Oak Creek. So the current zoning of the northern parcel at the hard corner is B2, Community Business District, and then the parcel to the fourth is zoned RS4, Single Family District. The applicant does own both parcels. The comprehensive plan identifies this area as these 2 parcels in particular as commercial, and again, they're proposing to rezone both of them to the B4 General Business District. So the applicants had a presentation and multiple applications actually before the Plan Commission that included a conditional use permit for a fuel station and also a certified survey map to combine the two parcels. So just a little background there. So combined, those two parcels are 1.1 acres. It's a vacant commercial building on the north end, and then again, a rental single-family residential lot on the south end. So the existing zoning, we've got a multiple zoning going on in this particular area. So the B2 is identified with the light pink. That's Community Business District. Its intent is to serve businesses adjacent to residential neighbors. The RS4 is a single-family residential district identified in green. The surrounding uses are to the north, residential and business. To the east, in the different municipality, is all residential. To the south, it's residential, and to the west, it's community business. So the proposed zoning is to rezone these two parcels to B4. The B4 has a minimum lot size of 30,000 square feet, minimum lot width of 150 feet. Its intent is to serve businesses along highways and who are dependent upon highway traffic. It does allow for fuel sales as a conditional use. The combination, the proposed combination, not to be considered tonight, but it would meet the requirements of the lot sizes if they were combined in the B4 district. So they did submit a conceptual plan with the rezoning request. They would propose to tear the house and the existing commercial building down and construct a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant commercial building with 3 tenants, and also would serve as a gas station and convenience store with 10 fueling pumps. And again, a conditional use permit would be needed if it were to be zoned B4 as is being requested. So the Plan Commission did cite several concerns with the application. Just a little background, the commercial districts in the city of Oak Creek have B2, B3, B4, and the higher the number you go, the more uses are allowed in those particular zoning districts, and it usually gets more intense because as the number gets bigger, its intent is to serve busier corridors, commercial corridors throughout the city. B4 is typically what you see on Howell Avenue and 27th Street, maybe a little bit of Rawson or Drexel, just the busy commercial corridors in the city. Whereas the B2, as it's written in the zoning code, its main intent is to serve primarily adjacent residential neighborhoods. It doesn't allow the intenser uses that the B4 does. Whereas the B4's intent is appropriate locations along federal, state, and county highway routes, and also serving businesses that are dependent upon highway traffic or which are specifically designed to serve the need of such traffic. So those were concerns, those definitions were concerns cited by the Plan Commission. And again, just from a bigger perspective, highlighting the two parcels, you've got Rawson Avenue, it's a county highway, but as you can see, it does have residential on the north side, not so much on the south side in this particular section. But you've got residential to the south, obviously heavy rooftops to the east, and then residential for the most part to the north there. So again, I'm just kind of citing concerns from the Plan Commission. So they cited heavy consideration. They said we should consider the context of the neighborhood, which in this case is surrounded by rooftops to the east and south and somewhat to the north. And while the comprehensive plan and map identifies this corner as commercial, which is pink on the map at the bottom there, the Plan Commission didn't believe that the intensity of what's allowed, the uses allowed in that B4 district, would be appropriate given the close proximity to immediate residential uses. And they felt that it would be more appropriate to stay that B2 zoning, particularly for the hard corner. So with that being said, the Plan Commission at their July 8th meeting did recommend denial of the rezoning request. That concludes my presentation.
Great, thank you, Christy. As this is a public hearing, we will make 3 calls. Anybody wishing to speak, once again, approach the podium, give your name and address, and you can address the council. This will be the first call.
Evening. My name is Blanca Cervantes, 7131 South Pennsylvania Avenue in Oak Creek. I recently became a homeowner at 7131 South Pennsylvania Avenue here in Oak Creek. I'm here tonight to strongly oppose the proposed zoning change that would allow general business use, including fuel services in our neighborhood. I bought my home with the intention of building a safe, stable future for my family. I depend on well water for drinking, cooking, and bathing. And I have a young child who lives in the home with me. This proposal puts both my investment and my child at health risk. I understand that tonight's hearing is not about approving a gas station directly, but let's be honest about what the zoning change really represents. General business zoning allows fuel services as a conditional use, and this change will be the first and most important step in enabling a gas station to be built. The applicant, from what I understand, already owns around 15 or more gas stations in Milwaukee County. If this zoning change is approved, it's clear what they will aim to build. Once the zoning is in place, the rest becomes a process of checks, not barriers, and by then the damage is already set in motion. A gas station in this location would threaten the health, safety, and quality of life for nearby residents, myself included. My home depends on well water, which could be a risk for fuel leaks and underground tank contamination. Air quality concerns from fuel vapors could affect the health of nearby families, especially young children. Increased traffic, including heavy fuel delivery trucks, would make our roads more dangerous and congested. Crime rates often rise in near 24/7 business like gas stations, especially those not well regulated. Property values will go down, making it harder to build equity or resell. Insurance premiums will go up just because of proximity to a high-risk commercial site. And homeowners like me, who just invested in this community, will bear the burden. This development will not only degrade quality of life, it would have a direct financial impact on my family. If this rezoning is approved, it becomes far easier for the applicant to push the fuel service approval later, one step at a time, just as they've likely done many times before. This proposal isn't about whether a gas station will be built tomorrow. It's about whether you're opening the door to one being built eventually, and once it's open, it's hard to close. There's better places for a fuel service, places zoned for commercial use, not directly adjacent to family homes with children and wells. I respectfully urge you, vote no on this zoning change. Protect the safety of our water, the value of our homes, and the health of our families. Don't put short-term commercial gains ahead of long-term commercial safety and stability. You're not just voting on a zoning label, you're deciding what kind of development you welcome in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. This will be the second call. Anybody wishing to speak? Third and final call. Anybody wishing to speak, please approach the podium, name and address. Okay, we will now close the public hearing and move on to item 9, which is consideration of an ordinance rezoning the properties located at 7115 South Pennsylvania Avenue and 7123 South Pennsylvania Avenue from B2 Community Business District, RS4 Single Family Residential to B4 General Business District. Council? Up. Questions, comments? Got one, Jim? Nothing? Greg?
So I don't know if this was at the same plan commission as the last one, but I was not present for this at planning commission. But based on that information, I mean, I support the plan commission's decision. I feel that the B2 is more of a buffer zone in that area. While this isn't in my district, it reminds me of a property in my district on like 13th and Drexel, and I would definitely not support the broader sweeping of the B4 versus the B2 in that area either. So I would agree with the plan commission's decision on this one.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions? Comments? So I did chair that plan meeting, and there was extensive conversation on it. They did come in with a fuel station plan for it. The commissioners were all in agreement, that as Greg said, it could be a commercial use property without such a heavy impact to the That would abut the house directly to the south, very close on the property line. And more importantly, that intersection there goes from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes divided there, and without traffic impact analysis, the whole thing. It just didn't sit well with the planning commission. And, I voted the same way. I was in favor of B2 versus B4. So, pretty much the synopsis of it. Not that it can be a different type of business, but it really has to be less impactful. Not only to the residents, but that intersection. As Greg kind of alluded to, it's a very good comparison to 13th. So, any other questions about that meeting? I can enlighten you on. Seeing none, motion? But either way you want, we gotta pay.
Or bring it up as is.
Yeah.
And vote it up and down.
All right, give a move to deny ordinance 3129, rezoning the properties located at 7115 South Pennsylvania and 7123 South Pennsylvania Avenue from B2 Community Business District and RS4 Single Family Residential to B4 General Business District.
Correct, to deny.
Not to adopt, yeah,
It was a denial.
denial of the rezoning. So noted.
All right, roll call.
Yes.
A second.
Oh, I'm
Ritzel-
sorry.
Ritzel second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Haas. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye.
Okay. Next is item 10. Once again, public hearing. Consider a request to rezone the property located at 3521 East Oakwood Road from RS2 Single Family Residential District to RS4 Single Family Residential District. Catherine?
Public hearing number 3 is to consider a request to rezone the property located at 3521 East Oakwood Road from RS2 Single Family Residential District to RS4 Single Family Residential District. Applicant is Benjamin Lang, Viridian Homes, Inc., and Neil and Noreen Miller, Miller Living Trust. Property owner is Miller Living Trust. Legal description there follows. Date of notice is July 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. Christie?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. The application before you for consideration is to rezone this particular parcel, which is currently zoned RS2, Single Family Residential District, to RS4, Single Family Residential District. The comprehensive plan does identify this parcel as single family detached. So just a little information about this particular site. It is just a little over 38 acres in area, with a net acreage of approximately 24 acres. Its current use is agriculture and open space, and as you can see, the back portion is pretty heavily covered with wetland and flood fringe area. So just some facts about the existing zoning of R2 single family district. It does have a maximum density of 2.9 units per net acre. It would allow for 69 lots on this particular parcel under the 24 net acres. The minimum lot size of the existing zoning requires 15,000 square feet in area and a minimum lot width of 80 feet. The properties to the east and west are zoned RS2. There's one parcel right here, kind of at the northwest corner, zoned RS3, and these parcels to the north, within a little niche within this parcel, are zoned RS3, and the parcels to the north, on the north side of Oakwood, are zoned RS3 as well. So the proposed zoning is to change this to RS4, which is still a single-family residential district. Its maximum density is 5.4 units per net acre, has a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet and a minimum lot width of 60 feet. So the applicant who has an offer to purchase this particular parcel has submitted a conceptual plan utilizing the northern half of the land, and they would like to build conservation-style residential subdivision with single-family detached homes, similar to the pictures similar in style to the pictures you see here. So again, a side-by-side comparison of existing zoning versus proposed zoning. So the existing zoning of RS2 does allow for 2.9 units per net acre. What they're proposing to utilize just the northern half, the proposed zoning of RS4 would have the density, their proposed layout, is density of 2.3 units per net acre. So a lower density than what the existing zoning even allows for. The existing zoning would allow for a maximum of 69 lots on the 24 net acres. They're proposing 44 on 19 acres. Minimum lot size is 15,000 square feet. They're proposing a range of just over 9,000 square feet, with one parcel being 16,000 square feet in area. The average of the 44 parcels is 11,251 square feet. For comparison, the RS3 district, which is to the east and west, the minimum lot size is 10,500 square feet. Again, the RS4 does allow for 8,000 square foot parcels, but they're not proposing any at that particular size. And their proposed layout does allow for approximately 50% of the parcel to remain open space. So those are just some facts with the existing zoning versus proposed. I would like to turn over the presentation to the applicant, the proposed developer, who's going to just provide you with some information about them, their product, and what they would propose to do at this particular location. And then after they're done, I have 2 more slides I just want to finish up before we close my portion of the presentation.
Okay.
Thank you. We have Ben Lang from Verdian Homes.
Good evening.
Down at
All right, thank you, Christy.
Yep.
Good evening, members of the Common Council, and thank you for your time and consideration. As Christy noted, my name is Ben Lang. I'm with Verdian Homes, and we're excited to present this exciting neighborhood to you tonight. With me tonight, I have Matt Cudney, also with Verdian Homes, and Grant Ducatch, our civil engineer, and we are happy to answer any questions, comments, concerns after this brief presentation that you might have. Starting a bit about Verdian Homes, because we haven't worked in Oak Creek in the past. Verdian Homes dates back to the early 2000s. Prior to that, 2 private home builders in Madison that have, I think, over 50 years of experience right now, separated. But Verdian Homes has been around for a bit over 20 years. We've been working around what we call the Milwaukee market, which we kind of joke is everything but Milwaukee, for about 10 years now. And this would be, I believe, our 11th neighborhood in the area. Our our mission statement as a company is building homes that enrich lives and realize dreams. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means to us and kind of our core tenets of what we feel that responsibility requires. But first, just to talk about one of those components of realizing a dream for folks who buy homes from us is ensuring that it's built to the highest quality. We want the neighborhoods we build to be places that folks, not only the neighborhoods, but the homes where folks can be proud to come home to each evening. Just one award here that I do want to point out is David Simon, who was our founder, was inducted into the National Housing Quality Hall of Fame in 2017. This is a very prestigious award, and I just wanted to call attention to that, just to kind of give a representation of just how important this aspect of quality is to us when we're building neighborhoods. So again, going through some of these guiding principles of what building a dream looks like to us. So first is looking at providing housing variety in all of our neighborhoods. We understand that not one size fits all for all families in a community. So we like to create neighborhoods that integrate housing, as it says here, in both options in format and price point, which helps us address needs for a variety of family types within any given community. The next item is vibrancy. We think this really boils down to the design of the community, being really thoughtful about the architectural diversity and the layout, and that range of housing types to really bring people out of the homes into the neighborhood and to connect with one another. Last item is sustainability. There's really two main components to sustainability when we think about development. First being respecting the natural features of the land and being a steward of that land as we develop it. And the second is using environmentally sound building practices. This is exemplified by our membership of Green Tier with the Wisconsin DNR. We are the only public builder in the state who is a member of Green Tier. Sorry, private builder. So one item is Veridian is developer, builder. We have our sales team. We run kind of the whole project life cycle. So as part of that, we really get to control what is the format, who's the target demographic, who's really going to be, who are we marketing to, and who are we going to be selling these homes to. And in this particular neighborhood, we're looking at primarily move-up buyers, luxury and estate buyers, and active adult and downsizing type buyers. One of the commitments that we make in these communities to make sure that quality is maintained over time is we implement architectural standards and landscaping standards through our HOA and CCRs that we'll create for each of the properties we develop. So this includes the creation of an architectural control committee. And on the screen here are a couple of examples. I won't go through all of them, but that architectural control committee is really responsible with making sure that any changes after the community is built have to be approved. And then the landscaping is both installed, but then maintained over time. So one thing that is unique about how we develop our communities that might be somewhat unique to other builders that you're familiar with is we will install all of the landscaping, sidewalks, and driveways before we turn over the keys to the homeowners. And then what the CCRs do is they establish a point system for the landscaping on the lots to make sure that at any given time, all of those homes are meeting that landscaping standard in perpetuity. And then the last item is our self-imposed rule of 6. And what this really means is you will not see the same home and elevation repeated within any of our neighborhoods for a degree of separation of 5 homes. Again, going back to that vibrancy, creating that architectural interest, and avoiding monotony in our neighborhoods. So then talking about this neighborhood specifically, I'll cruise through some of this because Christy was pretty thorough. But one thing that we did want to call attention to is our idea for the conservation subdivision here was really rooted in our review of the comp plan. That is always where we start when we're taking a look at a piece of new property. And in the housing framework of the comp plan, it was encouraged that this property was evaluated as a conservation style subdivision. So the property characteristics, Christy really touched on this. I just wanted to call attention to there are about 5 3/4 acres of upland down in that area that's kind of surrounded by wetlands. You know, for a brief second, we took a look and we said, you know, can we go ahead and permit a floodplain crossing and a wetland crossing to open up those almost 5 acres down in the southeast corner? And just really quickly, we came to the conclusion that's not the right way to respect the land here. That's not the right way to live by our design tenets as we approach the subdivision. It really is suited for that conservation style. So that's how we came to the plan that we are proposing to you this evening in the zoning to accommodate. So really what we are asking for is the rezoning from RS2 to RS4 to accomplish the conservation of the additional upland acreage and preserve an approximately 19 acres or half of the property. So what that looks like is a trade-off for conserving that land. We're requesting smaller lot sizes, but not density over the typical RS2 maximum density requirement. And then what that looks like in practice, we just wanted to provide a quick exhibit plugging what this neighborhood would look like into the context of the neighborhoods around it. And it allows us to really create some strong buffering, both, I guess leveraging buffering that would have been existing, in the neighborhoods to the east at Willowbrook, but also capitalizing on some buffering to the south and to the west to really create some protection to those neighborhoods surrounding us as well. And with that, I thank you for your time, and I look forward to answering any questions, comments, concerns of the council. Thank you.
Okay, two more slides here just to wrap up the presentation. The city has received what's defined as protest. Section 17.0804, paren F, paren 6, defines protest. There are three ways that you can meet the definition of a protest. One, as defined in the city zoning code, is that in the event of a protest against the district change, so the rezoning is the district change here, duly signed and acknowledged by the owners of 1, 20% or more either of areas of the land included in such proposed change. So in other words, the 38 acres, it's a cornfield, no one owns the land, so nothing can meet that criteria. No one lives in the cornfield. Or by the owners of 20% or more of the land immediately adjacent, extending 100 feet therefrom. So there are 17 parcels that meet that criteria of land immediately abutting this proposed rezoning. And the city did receive 8 qualifying signatures of those 17 parcels. And then the second protest criteria is that, or owners of 20% or more of the land directly opposite thereto, extending 100 feet from the street frontage of such opposite land. So in other words, on the north side of Oakwood Road, there are 12 parcels that meet that 100-foot length and criteria. And of those 12 parcels, the city received 5 qualifying signatures. So technically, the city did receive 2 protests. So what does that mean to the Common Council? The code states that in the event of a protest, such changes or amendments shall not become effective except by favorable vote of 3/4 of the Common Council membership present and voting on the proposed change. So what that means for the council is that if this were to be adopted and passed, it would need to be adopted or passed by a 3/4 vote. So just wanted to make that known to everyone. And then with that being said, the Plan Commission did recommend approval at their July 8th meeting. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Christy. As this is a public hearing, we'll make 3 calls. If you wish to speak, please approach the podium, give your name and address. This will be the first call.
Mayor, alderpersons, my name is Tim Schneider, live at 3525 East O'Brien Road, Oak Creek, Wisconsin. I'm one of the members of a Vote No to Change zoning. The issue here is not to stop development of the property at 3521 East Oakwood Road. It is zoned RS2, and the residents in districts 3, 4, and 5 can accept that type of development. What the constituents cannot accept is RS4 zoning that is completely and totally out of characteristic with the existing subdivisions and residential homes in our districts. The last 4 subdivisions, Oakwood Lake Estates, Willowbrook, Shangri-La, and the Bluffs, were all built in our districts during the last 35 years, and they are not RS4. There's a good reason. RS4 is not characteristic of our community. Now, responsibilities. Alderpersons have many responsibilities, but there are 2 major responsibilities. One is legislative, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're looking at passing zoning and such. The more important responsibility is to represent the people that elected them, to listen to their constituents, and to support them by doing what they ask. Alderpersons Marshall, Ritz, and Gale, copies of signatures telling you to vote no tonight were dropped off to your City Hall mailboxes, and an email was sent notifying you of the mail in your box. And I also received confirmation the mail was picked up. Alderman Ritz, you received 144 signatures of constituents that want you to vote no. Alderperson Marshall, you received 22. Alderperson Gale, you received 30, and I do have another 9 since that mailing. My question to each of you, if I may, Alderperson Ritz, Marshall, and Gale, How many constituents asked you to vote yes on
Sir,
this? Okay,
this isn't for questions, it's just
Okay.
for statements.
all right. I'm going to assume that it was maybe one, the owners of the property. It is clear to me your constituents have informed you that you should vote no to this rezoning. A no vote shows you take your greatest responsibility seriously to listen to and support your constituents. A yes vote will show you have a greater interest in supporting Verdian Homes, a developer that is halfway across our state in Madison, that will not be here to experience what this high-density RS4 development will do to this community. Benjamin Lang of Verdian Homes told us at the July 1st meeting that they needed this rezoning to RS4 to generate more money. That's what they're looking for as far as changing this, to generate more cash. Alderpersons in Districts 1, 2, and 6, we ask you to vote no to this rezoning to support keeping Oak Creek development the way it has been throughout the development of Oak Creek, with new developments keeping in character with the existing development. Alderperson Lorik.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to wrap it up soon.
Okay,
If not, we do have a 3-minute limit, but I didn't
Okay.
expect you to go on.
Okay. Alderman Lorik, you wrote in your personal profile on the staff directory, and I quote, "It was very important to me to be part of recognizing the importance of development while maintaining the neighborhood feel that the residents have come to love." That's well said, Alderperson Lorik. I hope we can count on your vote to not rezone, so we can maintain the way our neighborhoods feel, the neighborhoods we love, with its current RS2 zoning. The 4 current homes that you see there that are going to be surrounded by this subdivision, they're going to lose their dream, as he talks about new people coming in having a dream. They can sit on their back porches now and look hundreds of feet at the woods and landscape around them. One of those places that currently has 1 neighbor will have 5 neighbors. You talk about destroying a dream. I'd like you to just take a moment and just think about those 4 residents and how this is really going to destroy their lives. Lastly, alderpersons in Districts 3, 4, and 5, your votes tonight, yes or no, will be remembered at the polls when your terms expire. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Refrain from clapping. Thank you. Sir?
Harold Schrader, 3609 East O'Brien Road. We bought our first home at 3432 East O'Brien Road in 1964. We sold it in 1996 and moved to southwest Wisconsin. For many years back then, there was a pond on the bend in O'Brien Road at 11th Avenue, and that was filled in a number of years ago, and ever since that time, surrounding homes right in that area have been flooded in the basements, including just 2 weeks ago when we had the 5.5 inches of rain. And anyhow, I'm concerned with the rear part of that property you're talking about, the south part being watered now. When you put all those homes in there, we're going to have more water on O'Brien Road.
Well, thank you, sir, but we're talking about the rezone. If this were to move forward with this plan, they'd have to come in with their stormwater plans and everything. It doesn't go in unless it meets the snuff with engineering and what goes on. But right now, we're talking strictly about the zoning.
Right.
We're not going to speculate about what's going to happen with stormwater at this particular
Okay.
meeting.
That's all I have then. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Second call, anybody wishing to speak?
Common Council. In
Oh,
2007.
your name, ma'am.
My
Name
name
and
is
address.
Louise Casper. I live at 3511 East Oakwood Road.
Thank you.
I'm one of those 4 houses. I'm here with my spouse, Keith. Where they have the proposal of 4 of those houses is currently a pond. And part of it, leading out, if you look at some of their land maps, is what's supposed to be an open swale. In 2007, the seating members of this council ordered for it to be reopened because the Army Corps of Engineers called it a navigable waterway. It was partially opened and subsequently been reclosed by accident by farming. Them building back there with your R2 proposal will continue to push water out even with their water management.
Well, again, I do appreciate that, but we're just talking about the zoning
first.
right now.
Okay, I respect that, but let
Okay.
me finish. Okay, as one of my predecessors says, I'm gonna end up with a whole lot more neighbors than I moved out here for. I moved out to Oak Creek because it was semi-rural, and we were promised that we were gonna have what we have for zoning, that wasn't gonna change. I do not want it to move. I have had multiple issues with this whole way everything's gone. At the zoning meeting, we were told we couldn't even talk.
It was not a public hearing, ma'am. Typically, you don't.
Okay? Well, I just want you to think about if that was you, if that was your house, and you're gonna have 44 houses built back there, how would you and your family members feel? How would you feel about someone coming in and building houses at $500,000 to $750,000? And that's their starting goal. And as my previous speaker said, we were told by Ben Lang of Viridian Homes that they have to do it at that level to make money. It's just a money grab. And it's not going to help the people that voted you all into office. Thank you.
Thank you. Third and final call. Anybody wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Valentino Pascolini. I live at 3375 East Oakwood Road. I'm the house in between what they want to build and the big subdivision. That little bitty square next to the pond or whatever they're putting over there, that's gonna be right next to my property. I'm getting flooded out now. The last rain, the water was almost up to my house. The big subdivision they put next to me, people came out, the council looked it over and whatever, when they first put that subdivision in there. We have an issue with flooding because the water starts in Pennsylvania by Pennsylvania Avenue, where all the, anyway, I'm a little nervous. I didn't write nothing down.
That's okay, sir. But
The water comes from over there down because we're at the lowest part of the road there. So if they put homes on one side, more homes, everything's gonna get flooded. I'm getting flooded in the back. The land they propose over here when it rains, where they wanna build, gets flooded. So I don't understand the drainage they're gonna put.
again, that would be subject to, once they come through with a permanent subdivision plot, they delineate all the wetlands and everything else. Right now, we're just talking about zoning, from one
Right.
residential density to another. That's really the topic.
I understand. They're putting a lot of big houses on that a lot of them on that section of land. I hope you guys vote the right way, because whether they put drainage there, there's ditches. If there's sewers, are they gonna attach it to the sewers? And if that's the case, why aren't they doing it now? Why aren't they getting rid of the water now? You know, I don't know. I hope you guys vote the right way though, because I'm gonna be underwater. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the third and final call. Anybody else wishing to speak? before I close the public hearing.
Hi, my name's Sarah Lord. I'm actually the HOA president of Willowbrook, which is east of this proposed development. My concern here is the density, as you were talking about. You keep talking about the density of the houses. We currently, if you've been on Oakwood lately, yes, it was repaved. There is no shoulder on this road. We're going to be adding more traffic to a road that does not have sidewalks and does not have a shoulder. And as many of these people can probably tell you during the winter, there are many cars that fall in the ditch of this road. And we are going to be adding more vehicles. I'm also a mother of 3 small children that attend Deerfield Elementary School. I assume that's where these children are going to be zoned as well. What are we doing about the population with that too? It's an overall question when we're talking about adding a large density of houses where there already are some homes. I understand it's going to be developed. I think everyone here is just really asking you guys to do it responsibly. And perhaps bigger lots mean less people, less children on. And again, this road is not the safest road. We see kids riding their bikes to and from Deerfield on this road. And we are just going to be adding a lot of more cars. The cars also will be coming into our neighborhood. I know I have a few neighbors in here who we have a concern about how fast people are driving in and out of our neighborhood because we do house the elementary school. So this does affect more than I feel for these 4 homes. I really do. But it affects more than just the 4 homes. It affects all the neighborhoods surrounding it. It affects Oakwood and Oakwood Road and the congestion. And like I said, the road is just not made for more and more and more. So I'm asking you guys to do it responsibly. I know it's not going to be developed, but let's try to do it as responsibly as possible. So, thank you.
Thank you. Did we get your address, ma'am? You'll have to come up to.
3830 East Hazel Branch Lane.
Sir?
Hello, my name is Dwayne Levels. I live at 10239 South 12th Avenue. And I was fortunate enough to raise my grandchildren there. And it was a safe neighborhood, a neighborhood where they could play. And we gave them the safety rules, and they rode their bikes up and down. So the quality of life was really quite good for my grandchildren. Adding those homes, if you rezone it to that density, then I think the quality of life would be greatly reduced by all that traffic and all those people. So I don't have anything more to say. I just think that the coming generations who are there now, the children there now, I watch them playing, and it's pretty safe for them there. And I think the quality of life would diminish greatly, and the safety for those children would be affected.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Amy Hildebrandt, 3910 East Oakwood Road. I just have an issue with the number of homes that they're putting on. Look how close they are to the wetland. And with extreme weather coming in the last 5 years, I know by my house, the retention ponds that they have there, by me, the retention pond has gone over the water at least twice because of extreme weather. So if you look, you can see on the far side, the wetland is actually in the houses area. So I just think that they need to think about where the wetland is in extreme weather and how it's going to affect the homes there. Not necessarily, nothing against Viridian or whatever, but the fact that with extreme weather, that wetland will increase and take up the yards there too. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Okay, seeing no one else, Oh,
Okay.
name and address, please.
Yep, Deborah Krynock, 3501 East Oakwood Road. I am the first house to the west of those four. And we have been there 31 years. Originally, it was agricultural. Neil told us it would be a horse farm over there. Then it went to R2. Then they tried to get it to I1 for the school. Then it went back to R2, and now they're trying to get it to R4. I believe that there are too many homes to make it sustainable on that amount of property. I have a wet spot area 90 feet from my property line. And there's another wet spot right behind 3525 East Oakwood Road. So there are wet properties amongst right up close to us. So if their properties are 190 feet, I think, long by like 60 feet wide, they're right in the wet zones. So I believe that things have to be reconsidered and brought back to the table.
Okay. Keep in mind, it's just a rezone at this point.
I know.
As this becomes it, they have to delineate that land. Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Sir, name and address.
Christopher D., 10346 South George Drive. On the zoning issue itself, the four newest subdivisions in that area that I'm aware of, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think the gentleman here pointed it out, have been 3 R2s and 1 R1. I think Shangri-La is R1. So it really would be out of character with what has been, at least in recent history, the development. The other thing, not a mathematician, but if RS4 allows a maximum density of 5.4 residences per acre, we're dealing with 19 acres. When you think about rezoning, think about the top number. You have to. And that's about 102 units on that 19 acres. I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Seeing no one else. Anyone? Okay, we will close the public hearing and go on to item 11, which is consideration of the ordinance rezoning the properties located at 3521 East Oakwood Road from RS2 Single Family Residential District to RS4 Single Family Residential District. Council, open it up for questions, discussions.
Yeah, I went out there last Sunday. Barely could get through because Oakwood was almost completely closed off. Fortunately, I have an SUV and I could get through. Some other people turned around and didn't. And I think where the flooding issue comes into play in this, even though it's a zoning issue, is that the zoning density is going to could result in increased flooding potential. I'm also concerned with the overall density as it relates to traffic. Again, from the zoning allowing a more dense home allotment is going to increase the traffic flow. And as one of the ladies pointed out, there is no guardrails. There's nothing to get around other than into the ditch. And then one question I have on the RS2 versus the RS4. So RS2 actually allows for a higher density, but is it a larger lot size?
I'm sorry, Jim, can you repeat the question?
So RS2
Yes.
actually has high density, but does it require a larger lot size?
Yeah, the RS2 is a 15,000 square foot minimum lot size. Correct.
Jim?
That's it.
Greg?
So a couple of questions, I guess, for, I don't know who. The way it's is currently zoned, on this property, taking out wetlands, which they can't build on, they can build 69 homes, is that correct? Was that what the number was? So existing, they could put 69 homes.
They on the 24 net acres. It's a 38 acre site. The maximum would be of 69 lots allowed on the 24 net acres.
Right, so my guess is they're conserving the southern portion because how we have it in the
Exactly.
comprehensive plan. Is that
Yeah, their intent is, they, as Ben had noted, they looked at the comprehensive land and identified this parcel as conservancy, single family. And so with that, the reason they're asking for the higher density is to conserve the southern half, but put 44 units on the northern half, which is the most usable land of that 38 acres. Does that make sense? Did I explain that well?
if this does not pass, could the owner developer come forward with a subdivision plot that has 69 homes on it?
I might need Ben's help with that, with the math. I don't think they would be able to get 69 on what's usable, which is the northern 19 acres plus the 5 or so acres that Ben had mentioned to the south, with the current zoning. I don't think they would get 69. They would get more than 44 though. That I do know. They would be able to lay out more than 44 with current zoning. Yes.
So the proposed zoning, I know it's less homes, it's more condensed because they're conserving open space. I had another question. Can you go back to the last slide that we were on?
Yeah.
So if a rezone does go through, they can have a density of 2.9 per acre, but they're proposing 1.82. Am I reading that correctly? Third bullet point.
This is Ben's slide. I'm going to defer to Ben on this particular one.
Hi there. So this is, kind of the challenge of this proposal is we're trying to create the conservation style subdivision, but we really can't accomplish that with the lot sizes of the RS2 zoning district. So trying to be creative without going the route of a PUD or something like that. We looked at the RS4 zoning district. We said, hey, those lot sizes work. And we can come up with a layout that is still under the density of the existing RS2, what the existing RS2 would allow in a different time. You might have seen a developer come in, start to plat this out, permit some fills of the wetlands, the floodplain mitigation over time, and then all of a sudden you end up with a way diminished wetland and floodplain area. And that's just not the way we chose to approach it. We wanted to be forthright. We wanted to say, hey, we're asking for the RS4 rezoning for the smaller lot sizes, but we want to show you the concept plan that we're going to commit to. And I will share, we've been working through the preliminary plat. We've been working through the conceptual engineering. I believe we actually have a submittal. We do have a submittal in already. And so, this concept plan is not pie in the sky. We're going to come back with all of a sudden 200 homes or something like that. But to answer your question as well, the RS4 zoning district allows 5.4 per net acre. So I guess the max yield theoretically could be much more if we're being completely honest. But again, we're trying to be forthright, very transparent, show you the concept plan that you're going to see in the preliminary plat.
And I'm sorry, can I ask a question just for maybe further clarification on that? In order to accommodate existing zoning and develop, you would need to pursue wetland fill applications and such to figure out how much land you could fill to develop the southern half. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's a little convoluted.
You wouldn't need to do that. You just haven't maybe figured that out because you haven't approached that.
Right now, we are trying to minimize our mitigation below 1 acre. It's really just mitigating, if you go back one slide, I think. So it's really just mitigating those pockets that 0.09 acres, 0.25 acres, 0.34 acres, and 0.04 acres, total impact of less than an acre. And that's what's allowed under the current DNR regulations. You get a max mitigation of 1 acre. on a property. We work with a really good wetland consultant, and if you want to, there are ways you can start to plat property, get different lots put together, and then you can max that. You can up that to 1 acre per parcel. So if we started phasing this out over time, there would be a way we could get more wetland mitigation than that. We prefer not to go that route.
And then I guess my last question for the city would be, I know we're just rezoning. It appears by the conceptual plan they're well under what would be allowed if a rezone were to occur. What type of safety net is there to prevent them from coming back with a proposal and saying, now we're at 5.4 per acre, we're maxing it out? Can we deny based on presenting false information prior to, or are we kind of hands tied at that point?
Good question. Once the rezone goes through, there is a density cap, and development could, in theory, reach the 8,000 square foot lots with the 60-foot wide parcels.
The official plat has to be approved by.
The official
planning
plat,
down here?
preliminary plat does get approved by Plan
That's
Commission.
up and down.
Plan Commission only, yep, correct.
That would
For
be
what
the
it's
safety,
worth,
going through Plan Commission again.
yeah. For what it's worth, Viridian Homes has submitted and paid for a preliminary plat that follows their conceptual plan.
And I'm sorry, I don't know your business. I'm not
That's all right.
accusing you of anything.
That's
I just
all
am
right.
asking questions. Okay, I think that's it for now. Question was.
Thank you, Greg. Alicia, any questions?
No, I think
Okay. To my left, Lisa?
I'm good.
Ken?
Ben, can you go back one slide? Sorry, your plat?
Mhm.
So you're, from an economic standpoint, you have some lots that are obviously significantly bigger than others. Cul-de-sac areas. So economically, are you gonna offer different price points for your lot and home
Yes, sir.
package? Is that because of that?
Yep. Yeah. In the narrative we submitted, we went into that a little bit. I try not to get too into the weeds on the market and that sort of fundamentals, but I mean it is important. What we looked at was the demographic makeup of the community, and what we really see is in the past, we call it the trailing 12, the average new home sold for 715,000 and change in the city. 34% of families earn $100,000 to $200,000 per year in the city of Oak Creek. They can't afford $715,000. So that's the intent with the smaller lot sizes. Is we need to be more efficient with our development, more efficient with the footprint to offer homes that families in Oak Creek today can afford. Because we all know, based upon the housing studies that the city's conducted, we need more lots availability and more home availability for families in Oak Creek.
Yeah, I mean, the city does have a significant need for single-family lot development. But some of these houses you would, especially in the cul-de-sac areas, you would expect to have higher-end houses built in.
Yep. It is very important for us to have a range and have if you go to any of our existing communities or neighborhoods around the area today, we do provide a range of home types, a range of home sizes, because we want to include all families. We see that as being, again, going back to that vibrancy. When you have folks who are downsizing, you have new families, you get all of those families together, it really creates a nice community feel, very engaged community.
So just to confirm what Greg asked you, and confirm, I think in that the bullet point about halfway down that slide, that 1.82 is your proposed current density on this plot.
Mm-hmm. And that does take out, and there might be a difference. It takes out the upland areas on the south side of the property for that net density. I believe if you were to include that entire south half, like do an adjusted net density for the conservation area, we'd be at like 2.3. Yeah.
This goes. Obviously your stormwater plan.
Absolutely. It is a tough one, acknowledging that, and we got the experts working on it. And also acknowledging City of Oak Creek has some of the toughest stormwater ordinances that we've ever come across. Christy chuckles. And so
Well, that part of the world has driven.
yeah, I think it's the only community that we work in or would like to work in where your developed flow has to be less than existing flow coming out. So it truly, if the numbers work out, it should be a better condition after it's developed than today.
Okay. Got the floor.
I'm good.
Okay. Is there any other further questions or discussions? Anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. There's nothing more. We'll call for a motion.
I'll move to approve council ordinance number 3130, an ordinance to rezone the property located at 3521 East Oakwood Road from RS2 Single Family Residential District to RS4 Single Family Residential District.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Haas. Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Nay.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And it passed 3/4. Thank you all for your input. Next steps is as he goes through the process, it'll come once again through planning, once the plat's out there and stormwater. So you will be notified. Moving on, item 12. Once again, public hearing. It is for a consider a request for a conditional use permit for a drive-through for a multi-tenant commercial building to be located at 8355 South Howell Avenue. Catherine.
Public hearing number 4 is to consider a request for a conditional use permit for a drive-through for a multi-tenant commercial building to be located at 8355 South Howell Avenue. Applicant is Daniel Wasserman, R.W. Howell LLC, and Jamie Lindenberg, Tar Group LLC. Property owner is R.W. Howell LLC. Legal description there follows. Date of notice is July 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Catherine. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. The application before you for consideration is for a conditional use permit for a drive-through. The site is zoned B4, General Business District, along the west side of Howell Avenue. It's a current vacant site, as you can see here, in front of Children's. The proposed conditional use for a drive-through is for a future new construction multi-tenant commercial building. So with the drive-through application, they've submitted a conceptual site plan. The developer would like to construct this two-tenant commercial building. They anticipate the hours of operation for this drive-through to be 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. They are anticipating some sort of coffee user, which would occupy about 2,400 square feet. They do anticipate 250 to 300 customers a day. Again, coffee is a quick user in out for the most part. But again, coffee users typically do have the drive-through. Their peak hours would be morning, 8 to 11, and then 9 to noon on the weekends. They do have stacking for 6 to 8 vehicles, 4 at the order box and 4 between the pickup and the order box. They do have a 12-foot wide drive-through lane with the required bypass lane, which in this case is 10 feet wide. And they will have 1 order box or menu board. The conceptual plan, as shown here, does meet the drive-through standards of the zoning code, section 17.04014, paren G. The conditions and restrictions are your typical conditions and restrictions. What is above and beyond for this particular application is that it must meet all drive-through accessory use standards and requirements, and that the hours would be limited to 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the drive-through. Again, if the Common Council finds a negative vote, they must cite one of the review criteria before you. And with that being said, the Plan Commission did recommend approval at their July 22nd meeting.
Thank you, Christie.
Thank you.
Oh, this is just a resolution. Oh, no, it is. I got it crossed off. Totally frazzled. Anyways, as it is a public hearing, I'll make 3 calls. This will be the first call. Anybody wishing to speak in item 12? I thought we were 13 already. Please approach the podium, give your name and address.
I'm Dan Wasserman. My business is 8375 South Howell Avenue. I own the land. And I'm in favor of this, and I'm asking you respectfully to vote yes, please. It's going to be very consistent, if not nicer, than what already is up and down Howell Avenue near there. And, I mean, what do I know? But I see no reason why this drive-through should not pass as long as it meets all of your criteria, which it will.
Thank you, Mr. Wasserman. Second call, anybody wishing to speak? Third and final call. Okay, we'll now close the public hearing and move on to consideration of that resolution approving a conditional use permit for the drive-through for a multi-tenant commercial building to be located at 8355 South Howell Avenue. Open it up to council. Questions, comments, Greg?
No questions. Only comment will be, I believe all of Planning Commission felt this was an appropriate use there. I mean, there are other drive-throughs along that stretch of Howell. Only main comments that were brought up was the conceptual plan and having the queue face Howell Avenue being busy, drag down Oak Creek, not have the queue of the building face that way and have more of a storefront out front.
Thank you, Greg.
I don't know if this would be Christie or Matt. Is there a concern with traffic coming from the south as there's not lights there? I know sometimes that can be a pretty tough intersection going into TJ Maxx, that area. So that would be really my only concern.
Excuse me. From engineering stance, we don't see it as an issue being the access point on Howell Avenue being right in and right out only. Their access to their driveway would be on that shared driveway. As you see, it runs east-west.
That Alicia? Okay. Ken? Lisa? Okay. Greg pretty much summed it up at planning. Again, we had concerns about the drive-through fronting Howell Avenue, and it wasn't shown tonight, but the conceptual concept of the building was basically a brick wall. You know how we have glazing on both sides as you get to DPS. Building might need a little love there.
Landscaping obviously.
Yeah, I know, but the utilities came in there, and it was a big.
So, do you really have any flexibility in terms of, I know, Greg, you mentioned about having the drive-through queuing up along Howell. I mean, is there really any flexibility to put it anywhere else without lights shining in the houses across the street? Did you look at that or pondered at all?
No, it was just brought up because really it was just, we pretty much stuck to the agenda, the conditional use, and if it was appropriate, but you'd have to spin the building. I don't know what that
The
entails.
first kick of the cat actually had the drive-through in the back, but then you have all the parking along Howell. So it's kind of like which drive-through
Take
or
your
parking.
lesser of two evils. That was a discussion, but as Greg said, any other questions, comments? Not, we'll call for a motion.
It will move to approve resolution 12607-081925, approving a conditional use permit for a drive-through for a multi-tenant commercial building to be located at 8355 South Howell Avenue.
Marshall, second.
Roll call?
Alderwoman Marshall? Aye. Gale?
Aye.
Haas?
So dramatic.
Lorick?
Aye.
Ritz?
Aye.
I apologize for that. Not on my game today. Oh, boy. Okay. Item 14. Consideration of a resolution approving a certified survey map to combine the properties at 7020 South 27th Street and 2420 South Rawson Avenue. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Staff is still reviewing this matter and looking into the history as it pertains to the subject properties. We're not prepared to make a staff recommendation at this time, so we do recommend that the item be held again.
Okay. Greg?
Not really any other comments. I did get a call from the property owner to the north of this parcel. And I think it's fair to say it would be more fair to that property owner to ensure that all this is looked into so that they can gain access to their property as well. So I would definitely support holding it as well.
Questions?
Does it have to be held next meeting, or can it be held to indefinitely? Or more or less?
Asking how much time staff needs.
Or is this up to the private parties?
I think that we could do September 2nd.
Well, to be
Force the issue a little bit, or?
well, to be safe, if we go to 16th, we can still do it on the 2nd if we're ready, correct? Or do we have to do it on
Staff
the
would have
date
to
we
report.
specify?
I won't speak for anyone except staff, but I think that if we were in a position to bring it forward, there wouldn't likely be any surprise. It would be published, and I anticipate that we could have communication with the other parties, that being the property owner to the north. I believe there's a representative here, and then also in terms of the applicant, so that if it were to be sooner on the September 2nd meeting, we could communicate with them. Otherwise, if it's a motion to hold to September 16th, that's fine.
It has no bearing, though, they can come earlier if they get their act together or not? Or is it date certain? Is it date certain?
Date certain is, I would say date certain, so.
Melissa, is there any harm if we hold until September 2nd? If staff isn't ready, we can hold again? Or is there a limit on how long we can hold it?
I would say that there isn't a limit. I think we want to be appropriate to the parties to try to advance this. So it's whatever the council asks for, and if staff is not ready, then we would ask for more time.
I'm making the motion. You're good with September 2nd? Okay.
Sorry, Greg.
Okay, we'll call for a motion.
Clerk moves to hold item number 14, the resolution number 12601-071525, approving a certified survey map to combine the properties at 7020 South 27th Street and 2420 West Rawson Avenue till the next common council meeting to be held on September 2nd.
Ritzel, second.
Roll call?
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Haas.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
And under new business, we have consideration of a resolution accepting the 2024 financial statements and audit result reports as prepared by Baker Tilly US LLP. Max?
Thank you, Mayor and Common Council. Max Gagan, Deputy City Administrator and Finance Officer. So included with your materials was copies of the 2024 financial audit, or financial statements, as well as the audit results report, which present the financial position of the City of Oak Creek through December 31st, 2024, as well as the audit results report, which kind of talk through the process for conducting the audit and then any findings. Then with us tonight, we do have Wendy Unger. She's a partner with Baker Tilly and the person responsible for overseeing the city's audit. She's going to provide a brief presentation, and then afterwards, you just ask the Common Council to adopt Resolution 12615-081925, which is to accept those financial statements and the audit results report. So with that, Wendy?
Well, good evening, everyone.
Wendy, can you pull that mic down?
Pull it down? Sure. Better? Okay. So again, Wendy Younger, partner with Baker Tilly. You should have in your meeting information, a 2-page or 3-page handout, which I will use to go through this information very quickly and at a very high level. Just want to note that we issued 2 documents as part of the audit process. One is the audited financial statements, one is the reporting and insights document. Included in your audited financial statements is our opinion. That is the only portion of that document that is ours as your auditors. We've issued a clean, unmodified opinion, highest level of assurance that you can obtain from us as your auditors, and the same type of opinion that the city has issued has received in the past. Before I get into, again, some very high-level financial information, quickly touching on the reporting insights document, which again is a separate document that you should have received. That document we use to communicate comments and recommendations if there's any material weaknesses in internal control. Those are also included in that report. We share some of our standard and customary information within that document. The only item that I will highlight in that document, the document is very consistent with previous years. We do continue to have material weakness in internal controls because we, as your auditors, for a very brief period of time, become part of your internal control structure because we prepare your audited financial statements. Because of that, that is referred to as a material weakness and is included in there, not unusual or uncommon for governments such as the city. Switching gears then and getting into some very high-level financial information on the second page of the handout, lots of numbers. Not going to go through all of those, just want to hit a couple of high points. The information that I've included on the second page is all of the governmental funds of the city. So this means all of the funds except your utilities. The one item I will note, the first column there is your general fund. So this is the day-to-day operating fund of the city. As you can see, the general fund added $374,000 to fund balance. You had actually budgeted to use almost $4 million of fund balance. You had a positive end result of $4.3 million compared to budget. Reasons for that: investment income came in $1.2 million over budget. 24 was a very good market year, so the city reaped the benefits of that. And then on the expense side, expenditures came in $3.8 million under budget. A large portion of that is the contingency that you budget for, which is approximately $2 million. You didn't need to use that, so that goes back into fund balance. And then you had some other fluctuations, but nothing of significance. So that addition to general fund balance of $374,000 ended the year at $12.6 million of fund balance in your general fund. So again, that's monies that you have available. A small portion is non-spendable. That's related to inventory. You do have a portion that you assign. So $1.6 million of that is assigned for 2025's tax equivalent, which is the amount that's due to the utilities. And then the remaining balance is $10.8 million, and that is your unassigned. So that's really your working capital contingency. You do have a policy that figure be over or be within 15 to 25% of the general fund revenue plus the amount of the state shared revenue during the previous year. I know a lot of verbiage there, but that figure is roughly 30.5%. So you're on the high side of your policy, but again, that's favorable. That looked at very positive when you go to the bond market to have some additional reserves. Moving a bit quicker then, you'll note your debt service fund did see a small decrease in fund balance. Your debt service fund, you levy a tax, you pay principal and interest on city debt. So again, small decrease in fund balance and ended the year at $46,000 of fund balance. That shouldn't be of a concern. Debt service funds, you levy the tax, you pay the principal and interest, doesn't typically carry a large fund balance for that reason. Your capital improvement fund did see a small decrease in fund balance of roughly $364,000, ended the year at $11.5 million, had $8.5 million of revenue. You spent $8.8 million out of that fund. That's the fund where your Bluff restoration project is flowing through, so $3.3 million of those costs is related to that. The 3 TIFs are included in here. These are shown separately only because of the size of them. TIF 11 saw a positive increase in fund balance of $746,000 and ended the year at $2.2 million. TIF 13 did have a decrease in fund balance of 2.3 million. There was some borrowing that flowed through that fund during the year, and also some monies was transferred in. 13 paid for some interest on debt, and then also 2.7 million of capital needs within there, but did end the year with positive fund balance of 1.7 million. And then TIF 16, 10 million of revenue. A good portion of that, 3.7 is increment. The remaining balance was borrowing, again, that was done. 8.9 was spent, and a good portion of that was the land purchase out of within TIF 16. The last column that I presented here that's titled non-major, this is the remaining 24 governmental funds of the city. Those are in the back of your audited statements on pages 81 and 82. Not going to go through those in any detail, but did want to mention the location of those. You'll note those funds collectively added 2.9 million. The largest portion of that activity is your TIFs. So the 20 million that is showing within that restricted category is your TIF funds, your impact fee fund, and your special assessment fund. So again, very positive results in the governmental funds for the city. Moving then quickly to the last page of the handouts, I have included some utility information. 2024, I will note, was the first year we did somewhat of a combined audit. The city brought the utilities into their general ledger system, so we did have a more cohesive and consistent approach to auditing the activity in these. You can see both of them had, the water and sewer utilities, both had a positive change in that position, somewhat similar to a positive increase in fund balance. Both of them were up over the previous years. Keeping in mind there were some developer contributions that flowed through both of those. They come in as revenue, so does have some increased activity because of that. Also, the water utility did see a change in its pollution remediation figure, and you can see that in the table below that. That was a $1.9 million income figure for them. So again, some somewhat unusual fluctuations in the water utility. Both of those, as you can see in the second section of that table, both had positive increase in cash during the year. Water increased by 3.6 million, sewer increased by 584,000. Both ending the year, again, 34 million in water and 9 million in sewer. All of that sewer money is unrestricted, so available for spending at the discretion of the utility commissioners, and then 33.1 million of the water funds were unrestricted. So again, available for spending as seen fit. Lastly then, that table underneath there, I've highlighted the long-term obligations. There's extensive footnotes that highlight all of this information. Just a reminder, the city borrowed 12.8 million in 24. You paid down 9.3 million of general obligation debt. You had no borrowings in the utilities, and they saw a decrease in their revenue bonds of roughly $1 million. Probably the most important part of that table is your capacity to borrow. So you look at your equalized value, you can borrow up to 5% of that equalized value, which is 292 million. As of the end of 24, you had roughly 113 million of general obligation debt outstanding. So you have the capacity to borrow 178 million as of the end of 24. I know there's been some activity in 25 already, so that figure has already changed, but a significant portion of your borrowing capacity is available for the city's needs. So overall, a very good 24, and looking forward to 25. I have included my email address and my phone number. Please feel free to reach out. Gone through this very quickly to keep you moving along in your meeting, but please reach out. Happy to talk with any of you regarding the audit process, the results, what we do or what we don't do. But if you do have any questions at this point, I'd be happy to try to address those.
Thank you. Questions?
No questions, but a comment. Your staff was wonderful to work with. They were very accommodating.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Seeing no discussion, no questions, need a motion and a resolution.
I'll move to approve resolution 12615-081925, accepting the 2024 financial statements and audit results report as prepared by Baker Tilly US LLP.
Marshall will second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Hess. Lorick.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye. And just, Max, nice work managing that process.
Agreed.
Item 16, consideration of an ordinance confirming the adoption of a successor labor agreement by and between the City of Oak Creek and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 1848, and fixing the salaries for members of the bargaining unit from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027.
All right. Max Gagan, Deputy City Administrator and Finance Officer. Before you tonight is ordinance number 3131, which confirms adoption of a successor labor agreement between the City of Oak Creek and International Association of Firefighters, Local 1848, and fixes the salaries for those members of the bargaining unit from January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2027. So the city's bargaining team, which does include a team of city administration, our labor attorney, as well as the Personnel and Finance Committee members, have been meeting with the executive team of Local 1848 for over the past year, so since last June, to come to terms on a successor labor agreement that would cover the years of 2025 to 2027. After many meetings as well as mediation, we did reach a tentative agreement in June, which was then ratified by Local 1848 membership on July 15th, 2025. Within the Common Council report, I do provide a summary of the terms of that collective bargaining agreement. I just want to say that the bargain did primarily center around wage adjustments as well as managing the city's rising health insurance costs. So those are really the primary factors, and you'll see reflected in the summary those things were addressed. So wage adjustments, providing for a 3% cost of living adjustment on January 1st, 2025, 3.5% cost of living adjustment on January 1st, 2026, and a 3.5% cost of living adjustment on January 1st, 2027. There were a few other small economic changes. One was increasing the members' premium share for health insurance from 10% to 13% as of January 1st, 2027, providing one additional holiday, which was the day after Thanksgiving, which is consistent with our non-representative employees, as well as adjusting sick leave payout so that members hired prior to May 4th, 2010 have the same payout as those after. So they were different payouts, and now essentially the entirety of the membership has the same sick leave payout terms. There were also some non-economic updates that were incorporated. We had a few memorandums of understanding that were approved between the two parties these last 4 years. Those were incorporated within the document, as well as just some minor language and technical corrections. An example being there was references for the Personnel Committee throughout the document, and now that it has been rebranded the Personnel and Finance Committee, we made those changes. So say that city administration, we are thankful to both the Personnel and Finance Committee members as well as the leadership team at Local 1848 for everyone's time, energy, and effort. You know, it took a while to get there, but you know, we were bargaining in good faith, and I think at the end of the day, we reached an equitable outcome for all parties. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. We also do have Christina Cott with Bulow Vetter Law Firm here if you have any questions.
Questions concerning the labor agreement? Comments?
Yeah, it's just to characterize this. Jim and I and Steve for a while, and then Lisa for a little bit. Got the pleasure of a year-long bargaining session with folks at the Firefighters Union. Fairly robust initial ask, and unfortunately fairly varied settlements from other communities. Led to a fairly prolonged process. So, but I think we got a good settlement and a good contract for the city and for the local union, and I think we'll serve the city well moving forward.
Anybody else? Okay. Seeing none, I'm glad to see it's done. And we're moving forward, and we can move on from there. motion, please.
Bill move to approve ordinance 3131, an ordinance confirming adoption of the successor labor agreement by and between the City of Oak Creek and the International Association of Firefighters Local 1848 and fixing the salary for members of the bargaining unit from January 1, 2025 through December 31st, 2027.
Ritzel, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
And item 17 is informational. It's our annual tax increment district review presentation. Max puts on for us. It's always very good. So Max.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Common Council. Max Gagan, Deputy City Administrator and Finance Officer. So before you tonight is our presentation, our annual tax increment district review, which I'll go through. If you have questions as I'm going through, you're welcome to just stop me as I'm presenting and ask them. I want to make sure that we're getting the information that you're looking for out of the health of our tax increment district. So presentation overview, going to talk about just understanding what tax increment financing is and how it differs from what a tax increment district is. Talk about the 12% test, status of Oak Creek's tax increment districts, and then answer any questions you have. So first and foremost, we use the terms TIF and TID fairly interchangeably, but they are different, distinct. TIF is tax increment financing. That is the actual levy. That's the financial means. Those are the dollars that are associated with a tax increment district. The tax increment district is the geographic area within the municipality that collects the levy or the TIF that then can be invested into public improvements or private incentives. So just looking at TIDs by the numbers, so this is just a snapshot of all the TIDs within the state as well as Milwaukee County. You'll see as of April 16th of this year, which is the beginning of the TID year from the state's perspective, there were 1,445 active TIDs, so that's increased about 50 TIDs since last year. There's 139 active TIDs in Milwaukee County. Every city in Milwaukee County has at least one TID. And all the villages do too, except one, which is the village of Fox Point, which is primarily residential. As of January 1st of 2024, the equalized value of all the TIDs within Wisconsin is $64.6 billion. And as has been It has been mentioned previously, the only meaningful tool available to Wisconsin municipalities for economic development is tax increment financing. So just a very basic understanding of how TIF works. So when you create a TIF district, you set a base value. So what is the real property value of all the parcels within the district? That's the base value. And then once that base value is set, create the geographic boundary, and then all the value that's appreciated above that, whether that's from development or just economic appreciation, is captured. So that differential is where the city collects 100% of the taxes from all of the taxing jurisdictions. So just a very rough example here, if we have a $20 million property, they would pay $338,400 in taxes. And if the property is not within a TID district, the city would get $111,200. So we get our share, which is about a third. If that property was within a TID district, we would get 100%. So we would get $338,400. And then this graphic just kind of illustrates how a TID works. So this is kind of taking the numbers and the narrative from the last slide and showing you how it works. So you have here, this TID is created. You can see this is the base value, so this is the value of the property when the TID's created. You can see that the taxing jurisdictions are still going to collect their level amount of taxes through the duration of the tax increment district. Then you'll see here where it says property value, this is the appreciation on property value over time. So as the properties within that district appreciate, the city is collecting 100% of those taxes. Or the TID district's collecting 100% of those taxes, and that is spent either on public investments within the geographic area or private developer incentives. And then when a TID district is terminated, you'll see that all of the taxing jurisdictions join in the higher tax revenue. So, I like to think of this as the taxing jurisdictions coming together to invest in the community, wanting to see the development, knowing that there's a long-term return on an investment when that TID district closes. So looking at kind of our history of tax increment districts, so we currently have 8 open districts. We've closed 10, and what you'll see is that we've actually closed 2 districts in the last 2 years, which is TID number 6 and TID number 7. All the districts other than TID number 6 closed before their statutory deadline. TID 7, which was closed earlier this year, closed in 17 years when it had a statutory life of 20 years. And then you can see the value generated. You can see the city's TID number 1 was a very large district, generated about $134 million. But that was just topped this year. So TID number 7 actually generated $163 million. So pretty significant. All of these districts that are closed now, the equivalent of all of these is about $350 million in tax base generated. So this slide just shows the city's outstanding general obligation debt and kind of looking at it by funding source. And really the one takeaway from this slide is that if you're the general taxpayer or the tax levy supports 18% of all the debt of the community, and all the TID districts support about 79%. So what you'll see is we're often issuing debt to support either public investments, purchasing a property within TID districts, or private incentives. So just given our development and growth pattern, this is pretty typical for a community who's in a development phase where you're seeing a lot of your debt being allocated to those TID districts. So next, I referenced it earlier, but we call it the 12% test. So by state law, the amount of equalized value in a newer amended TID plus the value of all the increment in the existing TIDs can't exceed 12% of the total equalized value of the municipality. So essentially what the state's trying to control is that not too much of your properties are confined within TID districts, because if they were and the increment was all being steered toward those TID districts, you could have challenge funding your operations and having the levy support to pay for those operating expenses. So you'll see that the 12% threshold for Oak Creek as of 1/1 of 2025 is $766 million. You can see with the total of the 8 districts open, total increment about $845 million. So we're at 13.24%, which actually that number was 18% 2 years ago. So it's really came down to about 15-16% last year once they exempted all personal property. Closing TID number 7, again, that had increment of about $165 million. So that really brought us down further. So because we're still over 12%, that means we can't create a new TID district until we get under 12%. Although it looks encouraging and the trend does, the one thing I'll say is that because we're going to see strong development activity in things like TID 12, TID 13, we're going to appreciate higher than this 13% for the next few years. And realistically, we probably will not get under 12% and be in that position to create new TIDs until TIDs number 8, 10, and 11 close, which probably earliest is 2032. We got a long horizon, but we got pretty close, but we're going to start heading in the other direction once development really picks up in TID 12 and TID 13. So just the status of the Oak Creek TIDs. So what you'll see here, this is just very high level showing the value in 2024 versus 2025. You'll see that all 8 of the active TIDs did have an increase in value, which is what we would expect. For context, the overall community's equalized assessed value increased about 9.5%. So you can see all the TIDs actually increased about 7.9%. So the TIDs, and actually of the 8 districts, 6 of them appreciated at a slower rate than the community as a whole. And there's really a couple of reasons why. One, residential property value appreciation is still very strong. And most of your TID districts don't include residential properties. So if those are appreciating at a higher level than commercial or industrial and manufacturing properties, that's kind of where you'd see that variance. And then two, we did have a pretty significant development outside of a TID district with the Heyday development over on Buttes Road, over $20 million. So that did skew it a little bit. You know, what we anticipate to see for next year is that the tax rate for the TIDs is probably going to decrease 8% next year. So what that means is actually that if the TID didn't grow 8%, you're probably going to see a reduction in revenue for next year, and then looking at the long-term cash flow. So that's where I wanted to really point out TID 13 and 14 were over at 8%. TID 12 is pretty close, but the other ones are actually going to be collecting less revenue next year because they didn't appreciate at kind of that 8%. Essentially, if your tax rate goes down 8%, your value goes up 8%, you would be collecting the same amount of money. All right, going into each of the specific TID districts. So TID number 8, this is the Oakview Business Park on the south side of the community. You know, really the highlights here, we do have a few vacant parcels left, really on the hard corner of Howell and Oakwood. And those are parcels the city owns, as this common council is aware, currently working through a development for 30 of those acres, which will yield positive tax increment in the future. And then the other parcels you'll see kind of on the south side that are crosshatched, you know, very small parcels or undevelopable parcels. We do have one active finance development agreement with Stella and Chewy's, which is a PAYGO. Otherwise, this district's mostly in a position of paying debt service. So we did purchase land last year, and it's paying that debt service off. So that's where it does have general obligation debt outstanding, about $6.2 million as well. But again, pretty large district, about $152 million worth of increment, and really one larger development left before this district terminates in 2029. TID number 10 is Master Lock, former Master Lock property TID. This district does not have any active agreements. It does generate positive increment, has positive fund balance. It's being kept open. This is a donor to TID number 13, so it's supporting the Lakefront Bluff Stabilization Revetment Debt Service. We'll continue to do so through at least 2028, if not 2029. TID number 11 is Drexeltown Square. Drexeltown Square is our largest district. It's generated $231 million in new value for the community. It has a pretty healthy fund balance, just over $2 million. You can see it also does carry a large portion of the city's general obligation debt, so $32 million of that. And again, those were investments made in the early to mid 2010s to build out the infrastructure for Drexeltown Square, and we're recapturing the increment to pay off that debt service. We do have 9 active finance development agreements. And we really only have a few acres left for development. One is abutting Drexel Avenue, which I know there are some proposals out there, and then as well as these other 2 crosshatch acres, crosshatch parcels, which there are proposals for multifamily as well. TID number 12 is referred to as the IKEA parcel. Or IKEA district. What you'll see here, increment of 170 million. So again, pretty large district. So slightly larger than TID 7 that we just closed. Fund balance about 500,000. It has some minor debt. Most of the finance development agreements in this district are structured as pay-as-you-go. So essentially, as the development generates new taxes, we remit a portion of those taxes back to pay a developer incentive. So that's where we don't have as much geo debt outstanding, as well as a positive fund balance. TID number 13 is our Lakefront district. One thing you'll see is increment $70 million as of 1/1/2025. That number was $43 million last year, so pretty significant increase. And over the past year, And that was related to some of the single-family homes getting 100% valuation, as well as construction of the north townhomes, the rental product on the north side of the Lakeshore Commons development that came in about $13 million. Then seeing some additional value come in for the first multifamily project, not the one under construction, but the one that was built a couple years ago and with rent stabilization leading to higher values. You can see it does have some pretty significant debt, so about $31 million. Again, and most of that is targeted for the lakefront development, the bluff stabilization revetment, and then there's $16 million of it that supports the phase 1 infrastructure for Lakeshore Commons. So we do have 3 active finance development agreements, all of those being with F Street Group in the Lakeshore Commons development. TID number 14, this is a single parcel district at the northwest corner of 6th Street and Rawson Avenue. And this property has increment of about $11 million. We have 1 active finance development agreement. It's a PAYGO, so we have a little bit of debt, but essentially we're using the increment to pay off the debt service and then make a small PAYGO payment. Total amount $1 million. There's nothing else left to develop, so this one is one of that. We just have to keep open until we fulfill the terms of the finance development agreement, and then we can close it. TID number 15. So this is across from Drexel Town Square. So Drexel and 6th Street, specifically the northeast corner. And again, this is a district. It's really 3 parcels. That hard corner was redeveloped. It used to be, I think, a storage facility. That was redeveloped. That's the strip mall and then the Aldi. There's 2 parcels to the west or to the east that are currently developed, but certainly there's opportunities for redevelopment. It does have positive increment, about $7 million, small fund balance. It has 1 finance development agreement. And again, this is a PAYGO, so very similar to TID number 14. It's positioned, it's basically built out. We have an agreement, we're letting that agreement pay itself off, and then it will be in a position to close. And then lastly, TID number 16. So this is Ryan Business Park, home of Amazon. Again, one of our larger districts, $176 million worth of increment. Fund balance about $2.3 million. Most of that fund balance, though, is debt proceeds needed to pay for capitalized interest for the purchase of the property at 13th and Ryan that we did last year. So we have some interest-only payments for the next 2 or 3 years. So that's where that fund balance will be going to. It doesn't have any debt, and it does have 2 active agreements, one for the developer of the business park, and then second with Commerce 94, who's Amazon representative. This district also is donating $12 million to the lakefront, so pretty significant. Again, helping with that bluff stabilization. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Matt? Comments? Well done, Max.
Well done indeed.
No, and you know, he started this a few years back, and it is just so helpful to reference this and see it year to year. So thank you very much. Okay. Moving right along then, we will move on to item 18, community development. It's consideration of a resolution approving a certified survey map to divide the properties at 4063 East Oakwood. Christine.
Back. Thank you, Mr.
Busy
Mayor.
night.
Members of the Common Council, the application before you is a certified survey map to divide a 6.4 acre property. It would be divided into 3 single-family lots. There is an existing single-family home with 3 accessory structures. So that home and the accessory structures would remain on a 4.7 acre parcel. And then it would create 2.86 acre lots intended for sale and future development as single-family homes. The proposed certified survey map lays out the parcels that do meet the RS1 single-family residential district size and lot width requirements. With that being said, the Plan Commission did recommend approval at their July 22nd meeting.
Questions for Christie on the property on Oakwood? Okay. Seeing none, motion?
Bill will move to approve resolution 12608-081925, approving a certified survey map to divide the property at 4063 East Oakwood Road.
Seconds.
Roll call?
Alderman Ritz,
Aye.
Marshall,
Abstain.
Gale,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Lorik,
Aye.
Item 19, consideration of a resolution approving a certified survey map to divide and reconfigure the properties at 10751 South Nicholson Road and 10775 South Nicholson Road. Christie.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. So this is on the west side of Nicholson, just south of Elm Road. It is reconfiguring and dividing 2 properties into 3 residential lots. The proposal is to create 1 lot, which is about just shy of 1.5 acres in size, and then 2 smaller lots, 0.44 acres in size. So all 3 lots, they do have access to municipal sewer and water utilities, and the properties are zoned RS3. They do meet the standard requirements, the minimum lot area of 10,500 square feet and minimum lot width of 70 feet and depth of 115 feet. With that being said, the Plan Commission recommended approval at their August 12th meeting.
Okay. Questions regarding this CSM? Okay. Seeing no comments, motion please.
Bill move to approve resolution 12613-081925, approving a certified survey map to divide and reconfigure the properties at 10751 South Nicholson Road and 10775 South Nicholson Road.
Marshall, second.
Roll call?
Alderwoman Marshall,
Aye.
Gale,
Aye.
Haas,
Aye.
Lorik,
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
And item 20 is consideration of a resolution approving a certified survey map to combine and reconfigure the properties at 640 East Darcy Drive, 730 East Forest Hill Avenue, and 796 East Forest Hill Avenue. Christie, once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the Common Council. Christy Lane, Community Development Director. So this area being considered for dividing is on the north side of Forest Hill in the vicinity of South Shepherd Avenue. Shepherd dead ends at Forest Hill there and goes down to the south. So this is about a total of 8 acres and it's 3 lots currently. The developer has an offer to purchase 2 of the lots, and what they'll want to do is divide and reconfigure into 2 lots. There's currently 1 home on East Forest Hill Avenue. It's a 2.17 acre site, and they would be shrinking their lot size pretty significantly and sell the northern undeveloped portion to this developer. And that would be lot 2 is an 8 acre site parcel would be created, and then that home would have 0.41 acres after the reconfiguration is complete. The intent is to have a future subdivision within lot 2. It would have access off of Darcy Drive. We haven't seen any proposed conceptual preliminary plat or anything at this time, so I'm not able to share about how many parcels could go there, but the parcels are zoned RS3. The reconfiguration does meet the standard requirements of the 10,500 square foot lot and the minimum 70 foot wide lot. With that being said, the Plan Commission recommended approval at their August 12th meeting.
Thank you, Christie. Questions and comments? Okay. Yes.
Matter, Christie, is that platted road still extend to Forest Hill? Or is that cut off?
I know there's a future road with Darcy. Oh, I happen to have it up. Hold on. There is an existing right-of-way. So you can, these are the parcels that were, let me zoom out. Those three parcels highlighted. So off of Forest Hill, there is a right of way that looks like it's a lot, but it's not. It's actually right of way. Access off of Forest Hill. And my future roadmap layer is not working right now, but the Darcy does, there's a future roads in some sort of configuration going,
So we would only
extending
make
east.
them do a one access point?
Per our new code adoption, yes, they could do one access point with a cul-de-sac.
Any other discussion, questions? Okay. Hearing none, motion then.
House moves to adopt resolution number 12614081925, approving a certified survey map to combine and reconfigure the properties at 640 East Darcy Drive, 730 East Forest Hill Ave, and 796 East Forest Hill Ave.
Lork seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
And item 21 concerns engineering, and it's approving a stormwater management practices maintenance agreement with the Oak Creek Franklin Joint School District for the Oak Creek High School natatorium project located at 340 East Buttes. Matthew.
Thank you, Mayor. Matthew Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator, City Engineer. Before you is that a resolution for stormwater management practice maintenance agreement. Pretty standard form. Standard agreement we have with all of our developments as they occur and increase impervious or redevelop. As everyone's aware, the natatorium is under construction at this point. We're just tying our loose ends up and getting done with our reports and approvals from MMSD. This is the last step.
Any questions? Standard for our projects. Ken stepped out. Yeah, okay. Call for a motion.
Fritz will move to adopt resolution number 12609-081925, approving a stormwater management practices maintenance agreement with Oak Creek Franklin School District, Joint School District, for the Oak Creek High School natatorium project located at 340 East Buttes Road.
Lork seconds.
Have a second. Roll call.
Alderwoman Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Okay. Item 22, resolution, consideration of a resolution approving stormwater management practices maintenance agreement, Howell Avenue LLC for Buena Beef Rainbow Cone located at 8767 South Howell. Matt?
Thank you, Mayor. Just like the previous item, this is for Bueno Beef Development over on Howell Avenue. We have gone through all of our site development approvals and that. This is once again the last step before they really start construction.
Questions on this project? Seeing none, motion?
We'll move to approve resolution 12610-081925, approving a stormwater management practices maintenance agreement with Howell Avenue LLC for Buena Beef Rainbow Cone located at 8767 South Howell Avenue.
Marshall, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Fritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
And item 23 is consideration of a resolution affirming support for Milwaukee County's Vision Zero initiative and participation in the development of a municipal safety action plan.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. Before you is a resolution for affirming our support for Milwaukee County's Vision Zero. If you recall, in our past council meetings, we did enter into an agreement to team up with Milwaukee County in regards to a municipal safety action plan. Part of that agreement was they supplied a consultant for $0 to the city. We're actually probably 3/4 way through that plan already. It's been a very good, I think, working relationship with Milwaukee County. Right now, they're just asking us to reaffirm our support for their vision. What this does is it kind of gives us that extra tool to lean on Milwaukee County and different funding opportunities for us to move forward in some of our safety action plans that we're, one, putting together, and then for any future ones that we seem or find relevant that we would like to pursue. I'd be happy to answer any questions. This is no commitment as far as dollars or anything like that. It's just more of a reaffirming our support.
Does that include safety at Bender Park?
That's
I'm sorry.
That's a county. So this I mean, this is more traffic
Okay.
driven. So this is fatalities and accident related incidences. So what they're really trying to do, like most of our Vision Zero throughout the state, is to reduce traffic accidents at their different levels and fatalities. So like a lot of the issues you see within Milwaukee with running red lights, different intersection issues, they're trying to address most of those. It's kind of bleeding out to all of the municipalities within the county.
So Matt, are we officially moving on something with the East Drexel, the bike path crossing there?
We're working through that right now with Stonebrook because that does play into some of our pavement markings with Stonebrook that have been approved. So we have to make sure that that traffic flow is not, I mean, it's an easier, efficient way to move traffic right now. So we're working through some details to make sure that it's not convoluted and confusing to the driver. But that is part of the initiative.
That is
It's very difficult.
a wicked little crossing, and especially if the county ever improves the bike trail there,
Right.
they're active.
So part of that is, and there are other areas within the city that we have identified, one being in front of the high school. And we're actually currently working with the high school because they are changing their traffic patterns due to the natatorium. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Any other questions for Matt? Okay, seeing none, motion.
Marshall moves to adopt resolution number 12611-081925, affirming support for Milwaukee County's Vision Zero initiative and participation in the development of a municipal safety action plan.
4 seconds. Roll call.
Alderman Ritz?
Aye.
Marshall?
Aye.
Gale?
Aye.
Paz? Lorick?
Aye. And item 24 is consideration of a resolution approving an agreement with Milwaukee County for the Oak Leaf Trail extension through Bender Park.
Thank you, Mayor. Matt Sullivan, Assistant City Administrator and City Engineer. As you recall, on our last SAP workshop, one of these items brought up was with Milwaukee County and their extension of Oak Leaf Bike Trail through Bender Park. Some of the issues that we were running into was the use of public right-of-way that's owned by the City of Oak Creek. Several portions of the trail cross, whether it be Fitzsimmons or Oakwood. So this agreement right here kind of captures that authorization for us or to give to Milwaukee County to construct the facilities within our public right-of-way and connect. This is $0 to the city. It just gives me the authority from you to enter into public right-of-way and allow them to move forward with their plans and complete those. Construction is scheduled for the end of the year. Whether that happens or not sure. There might be some funding issues within their own budgets, but at this point, this is one of the last pieces to get the project moving and have it completed in a whole, the bits and parts. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Matt on the extension? None, motion.
Marshall moved to approve resolution number 12612-081925, approving an agreement with Milwaukee County for the Oak Leaf Trail extension through Bender Park.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall?
Aye.
Gale?
Aye.
Hess. Aye. Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
On item 25 is the License Committee. I'll turn that over to Alderman Ritz.
Mayor, included in your packet is the License Committee report. Please look it over and if you have any questions. Approved by the License Committee. Questions? So move to approve the various license requests as listed on the 1925 License Committee.
A second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Hess. Aye. Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye.
And item 26 is the first of two vendor summary reports. Each will be separate, but item 26 is for July 30th, 2025 in the amount of $1,494,654.55. So you do have your report packet. If you have any questions, please take the floor and somebody will answer. Satisfied there's no questions or concerns? Motion, please.
Marshall move to approve the July 30th, 2025 vendor summary report in the amount of $1,494,654.55.
A second.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye. Gale.
And item 27 is also our vendor summary report for August 13th in the amount of $1,562,107.77. And once again, please take the floor if you have any questions. Satisfied there's no discussions or questions? Motion.
Marshall move to approve the August 13th, 2025 vendor summary report in the amount of $1,562,107.77.
Lorik seconds.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Item 28 is consideration of a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, Parent 1, Parent E, to consider potential terms that may include the investment of public funds for the purchase of the properties at 6430, 6448, and 6460 South Howell Avenue, and 239 and 325 East College Avenue. President Gale.
Thank you, Mayor. Gale moves to convene in the closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub E, to consider potential terms that may include the investment of public funds for the purchase of properties located at 6430, 6448, and 6460 South Howell Avenue, and 239 and 325 East College Avenue.
Marshall second.
Roll call.
Alderman Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Okay. We will now convene into closed session, and we will reconvene at its. Guys ready? Okay. We will now consider a motion to reconvene into open session.
Gale moves to reconvene in open session.
Marshall seconds.
Roll call.
Alderwoman Marshall.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Hess. Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
And item 30 is to consider motion to take an action if required. I don't believe we have that tonight. That will get us to adjournment.
It's a motion to adjourn.
A second.
That was quick. Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Ritz.
Aye.
Marshall. Aye.
Night, everybody. Thank you.